third straight win against the Pirates.
It was a very warm start to the weekend with temperatures reaching the 80s, but the rest of the weekend will have lower temperatures. Tomorrow, we're talking the mid-70s along with our next weather maker. That will lead to showers and possible storms throughout the day, but it's followed by dry weather on Sunday, and it looks great if you're planning on spending any time outside for Mother's Day. Our temperatures reach the mid-70s with a good mix of sunshine and clouds, and the nice weather continues into the work week. Coming up, I'll have a look at the timing of the rain tomorrow and what to expect in the days that follow in my full forecast in about 20 minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Put the power of the Weather Authority Storm Center in your hands. Download the free WBFF Weather Authority app for your smartphone. Use our powerful Doppler radar to follow storms to your street. Go to your app store and search WBFF to get started. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6, new information about the police-involved shooting of a Baltimore teen. What we're learning about the teen's condition as we hear from family and friends. With Monzi's director on the way out of Baltimore, what comes next for the Safe Streets program? A former mayor talks with Fox 45 about the possibilities.
A 17-year-old boy shot by a Baltimore City police officer. We have the latest on his condition as an investigation into the incident begins.
The thing that's driving a lot of the violence is marijuana.
Concerns over marijuana just 2 months before it's legal. Why Baltimore County officials say the underground weed market is a major source of crime. And a string of robberies hitting Morgan State University. What happened just an hour after our cameras left last night?
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Maxine Stryker. Tonight, in a city in crisis, we're continuing to follow the latest on yesterday's shooting in Southwest Baltimore, where a 17-year-old was shot by a city police officer. Police say the teen was carrying a gun with an extended magazine. Fox 45's Alexa Ashwell has the latest on the 17-year-old as he fights for his life at shock trauma.
The mother of this teen identifies her son as 17-year-old Makai. She says as a result of this shooting, her son has lost a kidney, his spleen, and half of a lung. She also expressed frustration, saying she has not been able to see her son since he arrived here to shock trauma. We want to go ahead and show you this picture again. 17-year-old Makai. We're told he lives not far from where he was shot by a Baltimore police officer yesterday afternoon. Investigators say Makai was armed and refusing to drop his weapon as he ran from officers who were attempting to stop him near Frederick Avenue and South Catherine Streets in southwest Baltimore. We obtained some cell phone video that shows the aftermath of that shooting. The teen is seen lying on the ground as an officer tends to him. We spoke off camera with a childhood friend of the teen who says he heard the gunshots and then saw Makai on the ground.
So when I get down there and I seen him, it just felt like my whole world crashed. Like life flashed before your eyes so fast. I wanted to help him. I didn't know what to do. I wanted to help him so bad. That's my day one brother.
BPD says its Special Investigations Response Team will be investigating this officer-involved shooting and has activated its public release of critical recordings policy. Basically, this means it will ultimately be up to the police commissioner on the release of the body-worn camera footage. It's typically standard operating procedure for an officer who is involved in an officer-involved shooting to be placed on paid administrative leave. The department has not yet confirmed this. We also asked what charges, if any, this teen is facing. The department says they will have more information to release Monday. Reporting in Baltimore, Alexa Ashwell, Fox 45 News.
Well, Ashante Jackson stepping down from her role as director of the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, or MONSE. Questions remain over the future of the Safe Streets program. Former Mayor Sheila Dixon helped launch the Violence Interrupter program in Baltimore during her time in office and tells our Mackenzie Frost that she has noticed a deviation from that original plan.
Looking at the way the Safe Streets program is organized now, over a decade later after it was launched, do you think it's effective?
Let me say this, not knowing how all of them are run, but have talked to individuals and have watched different activities that have taken place within Safe Street, I question whether or not, and of course missions change all the time, but whether or not it really has the overall rooted mission from the way it started. Rallies and the give outs that they do, I mean, that's great and that's fine, but I think the emphasis has to be on being out there during times when the rest of us are asleep, figuring out what's happening, what's going on.
Dixon shares what she'd like to see from Safe Streets. The full report on foxbaltimore.com.
Well, new tonight, Anne Arundel County Police tell us that an officer is recovering at shock trauma after being struck by a stolen vehicle. Police say 3 people were inside, including 2 juveniles who were then arrested. Police responded to Americana Circle around 2 o'clock this morning when officers got a call for a vehicle theft in progress. One apparently got out and was hit by a car thrown in that air, and the vehicle was found a short time later along Saunders Way empty. However, police did identify a 14-year-old and 16-year-old they say are connected with the case. Tonight, there's no word on a third person inside as that officer recovers. Fox 45's Vincent Hill is speaking with police now, and we'll have an update tonight at 10. And also new at 6, another robbery near Morgan State University. It happened just 1 hour after our Keith Daniels gave a live report in our 10 o'clock news last night. We're told a victim was approached by several suspects at a bus stop just off campus along Lochraven Boulevard and was not hurt. The university has sent out a warning to students about a spike in robberies along the campus border or just off campus, in which a number of students have been targeted. BPD and campus police are increasing patrols. You can see our reporting and other security measures being taken on our website right now at foxbaltimore.com.
When we see murders that take place over drugs, it's typically over marijuana.
Baltimore County officials are now weighing in on one source of crime, the underground weed market. With less than 2 months to go until recreational marijuana is legal here in Maryland, Fox 45's Amy Simpson is taking a look at if cannabis reform could solve the problem.
Even with Maryland on the verge of legalization, some here in Baltimore County point to that underground market for weed for driving crime. With the stroke of a pen, this month Governor Wes Moore made it official. Maryland now poised for the legislation of recreational marijuana on July 1st. But even with legal use fast approaching, the illegal market for pot is still very much reality.
The thing that's driving a lot of the violence is marijuana. The distribution of marijuana.
On WBAL radio this week, Baltimore County Police Chief Robert McCullough calling it a cash crop.
Despite the changes, the underground economy for marijuana still exists. Many of our homicides, a key factor, and the majority of our homicides it's marijuana.
I think the chief is absolutely correct.
Baltimore County State's Attorney Scott Schellenberger points not only to crime, but how illegal pot is often linked to homicides in the county.
There was a murder at the Trader Joe's off of Kenilworth Avenue in Towson some time ago. That was a drug deal, and it was over marijuana. There was another murder in Towson near the credit union. That was a murder, again, over a marijuana deal.
Though some may question how marijuana could be involved, let alone the source of killings in the county.
Everyone has the same reaction. They're like shocked. They're like looking at me like, you got to be crazy. But you just don't see homicides over heroin or homicides over fentanyl or homicides over cocaine. But it always seems to be over marijuana.
Today, Baltimore County Police said legalization may have an impact on the underground market, though the issue is not unique to Baltimore County. It's a reality being faced by communities across the U.S., and illegal underground markets will thrive as long as they are making money. But that Baltimore County Police are prepared to address and combat the issue. But the county's state's attorney says any crime reduction will take at least a year to see.
A lot of that's going to depend on people's attitudes towards walking into a store and buying versus getting it on the street.
And next week, Baltimore County Police say they'll be holding what it calls Green Lab. It's in part a training session for officers to spot drivers who might be high behind the wheel. In Towson, Amy Simpson, Fox 45 News.
2 Cecil County students caught with a kill list. Teachers and administrators at Bohemia Manor Middle School in Chesapeake City were alerted to a series of Facebook posts showing pictures of a notebook that contained a list of 23 students' names. The notebook's title was People We Should Kill. Sources telling Fox 45 that the list was composed by 2 students during a sleepover at the beginning of the school year. School officials say the kids who wrote the list were quickly identified and there are no active threats to any students. And a traffic alert, Metro Subway Link service is slowly coming back online after a system-wide shutdown to inspect some smoke. Trains now running between Owings Mills and Northwest Baltimore, but remain suspended between State Center and Johns Hopkins. For now, buses will replace trains where stations are closed. We'll let you know when full service is restored.
It's been a nice and hot start to the weekend with temperatures in the 80s. And if you're planning on spending time outside over the next few hours, it looks fine. Temperatures will gradually fall to the 70s with mostly cloudy skies. But tomorrow after midnight, we do have our next chance for showers, and that starts in the morning. It could have impacts on your plans even by the afternoon. Coming up, I'll have a look at the timing of the rain, and I'll let you know what to expect for Sunday for Mother's Day coming up in my Weather Authority forecast. Back to you.
The verdict is in for an Idaho mother accused of killing her 2 children. Next, what charges she was found guilty on as this bizarre trial comes to a close.
I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. This story is for parents with kids taking standardized tests, especially if you have a child in the 3rd grade. The dismal expectations and what experts say educators should do right now.
FOX45 is following some breaking news right now. A jury has found Idaho mother Lori Vallow Daybell guilty of killing her 2 children and conspiring to kill her husband's ex-wife. Now, the verdict marks the end of a 7-week trial. Prosecutors argued that Vallow Daybell and her husband were part of a doomsday cult. Witnesses testified the couple apparently believed their lives had been taken over by evil spirits and that their children had been turned into zombies. Now, Vallow Daybell's attorney argued that she was not in the state when the crimes were committed. They called no witnesses. Her children were found on the property of their husband back in 2020, having been missing since September of 2019. Vallow Daybell faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. Her husband, Chad Daybell, is facing similar charges. He has pled not guilty. Maxine?
Making headlines tonight, a U.S. Marine veteran who used a deadly chokehold on a New York City subway passenger was freed from custody earlier today, just hours after surrendering. 24-year-old Daniel Penny appeared in court on manslaughter charges in connection with the May 1st death of Jordan Neely. He did not enter a plea. Penny's lawyers say he was acting in self-defense when he pinned Neely on the floor of a subway car, holding him in a chokehold for several minutes. Attorneys for Neely's family say they believe Penny should be facing second-degree murder charges.
Daniel Penny intentionally chose a technique to use that is designed to cut off air. That's what he chose. And he chose to continue to hold that chokehold minute after minute, second after second, until there was no life left in Jordan Neely.
Daniel Penny surrendered at the 5th Precinct at the request of the New York County District Attorney's Office.
Sit down.
He did so voluntarily and with the sort of dignity and integrity that is characteristic of his history of service to this grateful nation.
Penny due back in court in July. If found guilty, he could face up to 15 years in prison. The National Maternal Mental Health Hotline receiving more than 12,000 calls and texts in its first year. It was launched by the Biden administration on Mother's Day of last year. The hotline provides support before, after, and during pregnancy for new parents or those who have had pregnancy or infant losses. The Health Resources and Services Administration says the hotline averaged about 1,000 interactions per month. Top reasons for contacting the hotline included anxiety, depression, and feeling overwhelmed. First graders who started school in the beginning of the pandemic are now in 3rd grade. This week, many are facing a series of tests that may predict their long-term success. The National Desk's Angela Brown explains how these kids may be at a disadvantage.
A 2022 report found that 1 in 3 children in K through the 3rd grade have little chance of reading at grade level without major intervention. Many of those students now taking the 3rd grade standardized test that could indicate if someone goes to college or even prison. 3 fingers up on the first day of school.
We said, oh, I'm a big boy now. I'm in the 3rd grade.
8-year-old Clever loves his school, loves his teachers.
It's Mother's Day. He told me yesterday, he said, I got to get my favorite teacher a gift. So we got her flowers, so he should have took it to her today.
This week, pivotal. Clever is taking the 3rd grade standardized tests.
As far as my child, I predict that he will not do well.
That may sound harsh, but Quiana, Clever's mom, has reason to doubt remote learning.
It was a challenge for him to get his education online when he never experienced that before.
3rd grade tests, a predictor. The Department of Ed cites in this paper the link between how kids perform on 3rd grade tests and their future.
Kids that score very low on 3rd grade tests are much more likely to drop out of high school, much less likely to go to college, more likely to end up in the criminal justice system.
Michael Petrilli, president of the Thomas B. Fordham Institute that focuses on K-12 education and reform, agrees with Quiana, not expecting high marks on 3rd grade tests, warning educators not to just move students on to the next grade, but act.
It's going to mean intensive tutoring. It's going to mean more time with teachers and one-on-one or in small groups. And it may mean repeating the 3rd grade with a lot more intervention and help so that they can catch up.
The Department of Ed investing millions to support student recovery, but districts are having problems staffing schools. As for Quiana, she found tutors for Clever, now working to change his trajectory.
He will be getting out of school tutoring from now all the way throughout the summer, which I predict that he'll do better next school year. but this school year, no.
Reporting in Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
Kentucky Derby winner Mage will run at the Preakness after some concerns over the horse's health. His trainer says his energy levels were good at a workout this morning, and they're confident he'll be ready to compete in the second leg of a Triple Crown effort at Pimlico. The horse is coming off a one-length victory over 2 fills in the Derby at 15-1 odds. He's set to train again tomorrow morning, before arriving in Baltimore on Monday. The running of the 148th Preakness Stakes takes place Saturday, May 20th, and we're giving you the chance to go for free. All you have to do is watch Fox 45 Morning News Monday through Friday next week and wait for your cue to call. Each hour from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., one lucky winner will get 4 all-day general admission passes to the Preakness Stakes, including the Preakness Live concert lineup headlined by Bruno Mars.
Been a very hot start to the weekend, and over Towson and over Baltimore we're nice and dry, mostly cloudy. On the HD radar, however, you can see some areas of green all ahead of our next weather maker. That's going to impact your plans for tomorrow, but then things get much better on Sunday. Starting off right now, though, at 82 with mostly cloudy skies and winds out of the southeast. It's been a very warm day with 80s across most of the state. These numbers will start to drop overnight, of course. We drop to the 60s, possibly the 70s in some areas. But as we head into the afternoon, we rise to the 70s. We have our next chance for showers and possible storms tomorrow as that weather maker arrives. But we're back to dry weather for Mother's Day. After that, we've got a mostly dry week ahead with great weather, good for spending some time outside before the weekend. We're mostly dry here around our region, but you can see again those areas of green pushing toward our area. We're keeping track of this warm front that will approach our region, and as that happens, we have our next chance for a few showers. This evening and tonight, though, still looks pretty good. Clouds move in after midnight, and then we'll start off with showers around 6, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. So if you're heading anywhere early, you will want the rain gear. Showers continue off and on into the afternoon, and then rain gradually tapers as we head into the night. After midnight, will be mostly cloudy, and we'll start off Mother's Day that way with temperatures mainly in the 50s and 60s. We'll reach the 70s by the afternoon for a gorgeous forecast with a good mix of sunshine and clouds. We keep the nice and dry and pleasant weather on Monday as well. Temperatures will just be a hair cooler. We're looking at dry weather through Thursday, and then on Friday we have our next chance for a few spotty showers, but it doesn't look like the day will be a washout. Tonight we drop to 66 with showers after midnight. Then for the afternoon, our temperatures rise to the mid-70s, keeping us close to average. But again, we have that chance for showers and possible storms. Coming up, I'll have a look at what you can expect for Mother's Day and for the rest of the week in the exclusive 10-day forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Shortly before tornadoes rolled through Oklahoma last night, the low-angle sun illuminated these mammatus clouds, which are associated with severe storms. Here's an impressive early morning lightning display in eastern Alabama. Look closely at this cloud formation and you might see 2 hands forming a heart right in the middle. And here's a perfect rainbow stretching across the sky in Rome, Georgia.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Twitter.
With Title 42 now expired, numbers show more than 55,000 migrants are in cities across from the U.S. border waiting to head across. More migrants means less space at already overcrowded shelters around Texas. Robert Price with our Sinclair sister station is at one shelter that's already inundated.
Just before 7, a group of 40 to 50 migrants arrived here at the shelter run by Catholic Charities in McAllen. Still wearing masks, they'll be tested for COVID, registered, then put on a bus or van to a nearby hotel. People like Bridget Mendez.
Somos 3 niños y 2 adultos.
3 children and 2 adults from Caracas, Venezuela. Like many of the people at this shelter, it took them a whole month to get here.
I think that they didn't expect this, and they're so thankful for that.
Sí, aire, buena comida.
She said that she's been treated well, they're getting meals, they sleep well, that they're happy to be here.
A safe space to cool off, get some sleep, stock up on toiletries, or just be a kid. Sister Norma of Catholic Charities often seen comforting those kids.
And the families are so thankful because they have a safe space where they can come to and be treated with dignity and respect.
Quiero llegar a Nueva York.
Bridget and her family plan to go to New York.
The immigrants do not want to stay here. They don't want to stay here. They pass through here.
But the mayor of McAllen says not everyone has the financial means to leave right away, leaving cities and shelters overwhelmed.
However, we're also concerned about if we are overwhelmed, we have the police force, we have help from the governor's office, but we don't know what to expect.
We don't know what to expect because we've never done this before. What's happening this weekend has never happened before.
It's been a hot start to the weekend. Temperatures reach the 80s, but tomorrow we're back to the 70s. We have our next weather maker, which will lead to rain and possible storms by the afternoon. We'll dry out right in time for Mother's Day on Sunday. Temperatures reach the mid-70s with a mix of sunshine and clouds.